Hey guys, today I want to do a tutorial with you and show you how to install a light switch. So you can go from your dingy tan, that yellowish looking dirty light switch that so many houses have, to a nice bright white light switch. Unfortunately, our home was built in the 90s and all of our outlets as well as all of our light switches are currently tan, and my wall color, especially in the dining room, is white, so they stick out like a sore thumb. So I went to Lowe's and picked up a box, a contractor pack of light switches. This is a 10-pack toggle switch, and this is going to be a single pole. It's like your standard light switch. So I have a few of them out, and I'm going to change one with you here today. When you have a single pole light switch, it comes with 3 different, items on it that you want to be aware of what they do and what they are. One is going to be your ground wire. It's going to be the green screw. Your ground wire just tightens around the green screw just like you would a light, like the dining room light we installed the other day. On the other side of your light switch, you are going to have a white wire typically and a black wire typically. One is going to be hot and one will be neutral. However, what we learned in Georgia in our last house that was built in the 80s is we're not electricians. Sometimes we take a light switch out and they're definitely not color coordinated the way that every video says they are. Just from pulling a few out of the wall already, we can tell that we have some issues that we're running into. We have 11 light switches total just in our dining room alone. A lot of those light switches are controlled from 2 different switches, meaning the light itself can be turned on from 2 different sides of the room. Those switches require a double pole light switch, so these will not work on those. But let's get started, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you may have along the way. First, our electricity to this light switch has already been turned off. Next, I've just pulled the light switch out of the wall so I have better access to the wires behind it. Like I said before, not every light switch is going to be wired the way that the internet tells you it should. Technically, we should have a black wire here and a white wire. Instead, we have 2 black wires. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the wires from the old light switch as close to the back as I possibly can. And I'm going to hook up the new light switch the exact same way. This light switch also does not have a ground wire, which is odd to me. But again, I'm not an electrician. It could be ground somewhere else or some other way. So the exact same way it came out is the exact same way it's going back in. I'm stripping some of the protectant rubber from the wire now so I can get some of that wire exposed in order for it to fit into the back of the new light switch. This is literally my least favorite part. I always end up hurting my knuckles or something doing this. Some wires are super easy to do it to pull the rubber piece off, and then other wires are just a pain, and this one unfortunately was a pain. Now that I have both of my wires exposed, I'll take my new single prong light switch. There are holes in the back of the light switch that the wires will be pushed back into, just like the old switch. If on the old switch the wires were twisted around the screws that you can see on the right, I would twist these wires around the screws and screw those down. However, our wires in this house are just pushed into the back of the light switch. You'll be able to feel a stopping point when you slide the wire in there so you know you're fully in contact. And now I just have to get the screws out of the way since this light switch won't be using these. And of course, don't forget the ground wire on the opposite side. That is your green screw. We need to also get that out of the way. Now it's time to push the light switch back into the wall and connect it. At this point, you just want to make sure that the wires that are coming out of the back of the light switch aren't coming in contact with each other. And screw in your new light switch. Now that everything's attached, I'm going to go ahead and put the breaker back on and flip the switch up and see if we have light. Okay, so moment of truth. We went back and flipped the breaker on and it works. So now we have a new bright white light switch. Now it's time to put our cover back on our new nice light switch. At this point, the only tip that I have for you is start your screws with your hands. It's much easier to find the hole that way. And then go in with just a screwdriver. Do not use a drill at this point. You can get a little out of control with that and snap your light switch cover very easy. And always make sure your screws face the same way. Whether you choose a vertical or horizontal, it just makes that light switch cover look much, much cleaner. All right, one light switch down, 12 more to go. I'm going to show you another video in hyperspeed. Alright, we've talked about how to switch out a single, what I would dub normal light switch, meaning it's a single toggle. The light only controls one light and there's only one switch for the designated one light. But how do you know before you go to the store, to Lowe's, or order off Amazon, which switches to order? So if you take your panel, if you take your little light switch cover off the wall, you don't even have to turn anything off or take anything out of the wall. You can look inside. So let's pretend these were still attached back in here like this one is. Look inside and look around your light switch to determine if you have 2 wires going to your switch or if you have 4. If you have 4 going to the switch, you need a double toggle.